Hello, everyone, and welcome to the second lesson in the module 4. Now, you might be wondering how did we jump to the second lesson? The first lesson is not there for your final term exam, so I'm beginning with the second lesson itself. We have not done the lesson 1. In module 4, first lesson is not there. It starts with lesson 2 for your exams, so I'm not doing the lesson 1 for now. I'll directly jump to lesson 2. This is a simple, easy, and an interesting lesson, to be honest, because this lesson is about Pythagorean theorem and its converse. You might have heard Pythagoras theorem as well. Technically, we call it Pythagorean theorem. It's the name is Pythagoras, the philosopher's name. The Greek mathematician and philosopher is Pythagoras. We will look into the learning objectives. They are to use the Pythagorean theorem to solve problems involving right triangles and to classify triangles using the converse of Pythagorean theorem. We can find what type of triangle it is, whether it's an acute, obtuse, or right angle from Pythagoras theorem as well. That's the converse of it. We use this and find this. We will look into both of these in this lesson. And the keywords are there's only one, Pythagorean triple. Now here, okay, let's look into basic things of Pythagorean triple. Before I begin, I just want you to remember the Pythagoras theorem. I'll just write it down over here. Okay, it's over here, sorry. So this is very important to remember. Now, what does that mean? So I'll draw a figure, a right angle triangle. Now, it is very, very important to understand this theorem is, you can use this only at right angles where there is a 90 degree. Say you have a 90 degree, okay, it must be a 90 degree, then you can use this theorem. The opposite of this 90 degree, opposite side, is always called the hypotenuse. Hypotenuse. This is a very important side because that's the longest side that triangle can have. If you have, say, lengths of 4, 5, 3, and 5, sorry, I should have written it 3, 4, and 5, then the highest length will be the hypotenuse 5, and the other two can be 3 and 4. So this is important thing because that's the biggest length, and 90 degree must be there. That means it must be a right angle triangle. Only in such cases we use this Pythagoras theorem. The hypotenuse exists. Now there are few things which this Pythagoras had found out. I think so. It was, see, now this Pythagorean theorem, right, was found in different countries as well by different people. Different mathematicians. But Pythagoras, who was a Greek philosopher, is one of the, he had noted and written it where, he had preserved his theorem well. I can say that because it is well known as Pythagoras theorem because, many of the mathematicians were Greek philosophers and his theorem was widely used, though there are hints that this was used even by other civilizations before him, but still we regard Pythagoras because it is well documented by Pythagoras. You can say like that. Okay. Anyways, that's a little bit of history. Now here, there have been various people studying a lot about Pythagoras theorem, and we have found some triples in the sense certain numbers will, now imagine this 3, 4, 5 or 5, 12, 13. These, if you add these, wait, let me write it over here. Here, if I use this Pythagoras theorem, if I put 5 squared plus 12 squared, that will be equal to 13 squared. So this is a Pythagorean triple. Here also, 3 squared plus 4 squared. 3 squared is 9, 4 squared is 16. Add them up, it will be 25. That is 5 squared. So these you can, whenever you see these numbers, you can directly write them as Pythagoras triple. Now, I wouldn't suggest you to memorize this because, some are easy because, it's easy to remember 7, 24, 25, 3, 4, 5, 5, 12, 13, 8. This I don't remember usually. But anyways, it's simple. If you can remember this, well and good. Otherwise, you can use this formula and solve it. So this is just there. So that's why I'm teaching you up. I'm just talking about this. And honestly speaking, you guys have calculator. Why simply load your mind with all this? You do not need to buy out this. Just use the calculator and solve this up. But one more thing, if you know these triples, right? Any multiple of this, in the sense 3 times 2 is 6, 4 times 2 is 8, 5 times 2 is 10. Any multiple of these will also be triples. In the sense, let me take this. If I add 9 squared plus 12 squared, that will be equal to 15 squared. This is a Pythagorean triple as well. So this is about it. Now, whenever you see such sides, you can directly tell, oh, this is a right angle triangle. So that is the thing. We will now look into Pythagorean theorem problems. Okay. Here we need to find x. First of all, you need to understand what is the hypotenuse. Here, 90 degree is this. So opposite to it, that's the hypotenuse, that's x. So the theorem says the hypotenuse squared, the longest side squared, will be equal to the other two sides. X squared will be equal to 17 squared plus 7 squared. If you want to find x squared, you can take square root on both the sides. I'll just write it over here. 7 squared. Take square root on both the sides. That will be x equals this part. You can just put that in the calculator and find it out. All you do is square root 17 squared plus 7 squared. And now, if you recall, this was a Pythagorean triple 7, 15, 7, 15, and 17. So this will be, sorry, 18.1 second. Sorry, my bad. It is not a Pythagorean triple. I got confused. 8, 15, 17. Not bad. It is not a Pythagorean triple. Apologies. It is here the value is 18.38. Okay. So that's why don't go to memorize them. I really used to have a hard time when I was getting the triple when I was in school. I never could remember those triples. Anyways, if you have calculator, you can easily solve it, so you do not need. But if you do memorize, we can't guarantee that those problems, those sides will be there. But if you see those sides, it's easy to remember. That's it. But it's always good to double check in the calculator. So yeah, this is the answer, 18.38. I hope this is clear. Very, very simple, as easy as it can get. Now, when you're doing it in your exam, you don't need to do all that steps. You can skip down many steps. I'll show you. Now, here it's in detail. If your teacher is asking for all the detailed steps, then yes, you can go with that. Otherwise, you can just skip many steps. Before that, look over here. This is the answer, 13 root 2. Now, in some cases, you would like to write it in terms of 18.38. If it's a writing exam, if this comes for writing, any of this answer is correct, not to worry. And the most important thing is writing the formula once and then solving it up. But the formula is very easy, so you can write it and then just substitute and solve it. Now here, 14, 50, and x. So what we can do is we can directly use, okay, now use a Pythagorean triple. This is 7, 25, 24. It's multiplied by 2, so this will be 48, I believe. Yeah, that's going to be 48. But let's do it using the formula. How do we do the formula? It is c squared equals a squared plus b squared. Now c squared, what is c squared? It's the hypotenuse, this side. Don't think x is hypotenuse. It is opposite to the 90 degree. That's 50 squared. Okay, equals, what is a squared? You can take it as 14 squared. B is the unknown side. Let's take it as x squared. Now you can take this to the other side. It will be 50 squared minus 14 squared. And that is equal to x squared. You can take square root of this. Square root on both the sides. It will become square root of 50 squared minus 14 squared, that is equal to x. Now this is a Pythagorean triple. The answer must be 48. Let's quickly put it in the calculator. 50 squared minus 14 squared, and the answer is 48. Now if you remember the Pythagorean triple of what exactly? It was 7, 24, 25. Now if you multiply all these by 2, it is 14, 48 and 50. So we have 14, 50, and one more side will be 48. This is the Pythagorean triple method, but you can always use this formula and solve it. Okay. So the answer would be over here. It's directly given, but you can use the formula and find it. 48 is the answer. Please try to do this by yourselves. Again, there is another triple. Now, up to you. Now, I'll directly do it over here. It's gonna be 48 and 20. If you spend some time, you can memorize the triples. Oh, sorry, this is wrong. Now, look, which is the hypotenuse? It's x squared. X squared is the hypotenuse. So, I'll write it over here. In order to find the hypotenuse, let's see here. X squared equals 48 squared plus 20 squared. It's better you write the formula one. C squared equals a squared plus b squared. Now all you need to do is x will be square root of 48 squared plus 20 squared. That would be the answer. I was directly typing in the calculator and the answer is 52. Now if you look carefully, which is this the multiple of? I think so it is 3, 4 and 5. No, let me just go back because even I'm wondering. Let us just, okay, it was 5, 12, 13. So this is the multiple of 5, 12, 13, right? Yep. Why? Because 20 is a multiple of 5, 12 fours are 48, 13 fours are 52, 5 fours are 20. So it's the next one. Okay, all are multiplied by 4. X is 4 here. But it's not so easy to remember all the triples, so it's better you use this method and directly solve it up. This is it. Now then we have a few real world problems. Let's quickly go through this. Again, very simple, same Pythagoras itself. A summer camp is building a new ziplining course. The designer of the course wants the last zip line to start at a platform 450 meters above the ground. Okay, let's understand this. 450 meters above the ground. So this zip line, the length, the straight length, just get it over here, is 450. Okay, and 775 meters away from the base of the platform. Okay, it is about 775 meters away from the base. That means if this is the base, it's away from here. Okay, how long must be the zip line to meet the designer specification? So this is 450, that's the height. The base is away by 775. Now what is this length? That is the hypotenuse. See, base and length, height will be 90 degrees. It's hypotenuse is over here, x, let's take it as, and now we can use Pythagoras theorem. So the theorem is c squared equals a squared plus b squared. Let me just take c as x squared equals 450 squared plus 775 squared. Take square root on both the sides, you're going to get x equals square root of 450 squared plus 775 squared. The answer can directly be found out in the calculator. That is 775, and over here we have 450. That's it. The answer is 896.17. Did they tell to round off at anything? I think so. We can write it as 896.17 or 896 meters. So the hypotenuse is so much. Okay, the diagram must be first drawn. That's what we did. And then you can easily use Pythagoras theorem and solve it up. The answer is 896.17 meters. Okay, 2 decimal points is enough because they have not mentioned it exactly. Okay. Now here, if you're thinking, how is this? They have done it separately. 450 squared plus 775 squared is 803,125. And then over here, if you put this in calculator, you can get the answer. So that's the answer for this. And there's one more real world problem. Let's quickly do this. You can pause the video now and try it by yourselves, and then you can continue watching. Lincoln High School is installing more wheelchair ramps around the school. One of the new ramp needs to have a base that is 12 feet long. Okay, the base over here is 12 feet long. Okay, that's a very bad base. It should be straight. Okay, it's up anyways. This is 12 feet long. And the height of this is 1 foot. Okay, 1 feet. Feet is plural. If it's 2, 3, 4, we call it feet. If it's 1, we call it foot. Okay. Now, if the side of the ramp forms a right triangle, that means it's 90-degree away, it's a right angle triangle. How long should be the incline, that is the dipping down surface? How long should be the inclined surface of the ramp? Okay. Sorry for that. It's just going. Okay. Anyways, just understand that's a triangle. It's very bad drawing. But this is the 90-degree. This is 1 foot and this is 12 feet. What is this? Okay, this is not a triple or anything. We have to just do x. Okay, I'll take this hypotenuse as x. So x squared equals, I'll directly write it. You need to write the formula as well. 1 squared plus 12 squared. Sorry. Now, you don't need a calculator for this. X is equal to square root of 1 square is 12 square is 144. It will be 145 root. Now, yeah, you need a calculator for this now. It's very, very close to 12. Okay, it's 12 point something 1 or something. So, square root 1 square plus 12 square would be square root 145. That is 12.04. Okay. Okay, it's just written as root 145. That's fine. But it would be this value. Okay, that is the x value. That's it. And now we will look into the converse of Pythagoras theorem. Now, converse means you know something has happened. Okay, because of now let's take this only Pythagoras theorem itself as the thing. We know Pythagoras theorem is used only for right angles, right? This is not looking like a right angle. It should be straight. I'm sorry for that. But now imagine this is very straight, 90-degree. Only over here Pythagoras theorem can be used when it's a right angle. Now what you're telling is, if the Pythagoras theorem is true, that means if c square equals a square plus b square, c square is the hypotenuse, that's the longest side, hypotenuse, okay? If this formula is true, then we can tell it's a right angle triangle, okay? This is other way around. We knew before, if there is right angle triangle, we can use Pythagoras theorem. Now, if Pythagoras theorem is true, then it's a right angle triangle. And there are, see, you can also find, okay, this is another important thing. You can classify into acute or obtuse triangles based on the side lengths. Now, imagine you use Pythagoras theorem, that is the hypotenuse. It's not a right angle, but just use this. If the hypotenuse, the longest side, square it and add the other two sides. If this longest side is less than the sum of the other two sides, what happens? This means this is a bit smaller and these are a bit bigger, right? It's not equal. So then, see, if it was equal, let me just draw it. 90-degree, right? This is 90-degree. Now here, this hypotenuse, what is it? If it's 5, this is 3 and this is 4. Now when you add the square of these, that is equal to this. So it's absolutely 90-degree. But now what I will do is, let me just change this. Let me 3, 4 and let me put this as 4.5. In this case, I know it is less than, it is less than 25, so it is not equal, it will be less. So this angle little dips like this because this length will be shorter. It's not 5, it's a bit shorter. If this is a bit shorter, then these two sides must come closer. I'm drawing a magnified image, but these will be coming little closer. So this is not 90-degree, it will be less than 90-degree. Okay, why? Because it is this length over here, instead of 5, it's shorter. So imagine you remove this little area from here and here, so it shortens and this sides need to come closer to make it a triangle. So therefore here you can say this is acute because this is less than 90-degree. Whereas if I put this as 6, it is not a right angle, but this is big, so it is going more away. So the originally it was flat, now it has to go a little more down. It has to go a little more to join. So if c square is less than the sum of the other two squares, then it's acute. If at all it is greater, you can see it is obtuse. So from these sides, we can find some crucial information about the acute and obtuse angles. Which type of triangle they are. Now then, we will classify triangles. First of all, we have been given over here the points. Determine whether the points A, B, C can be the vertices of triangle. If so, classify the triangle as acute, right, and or obtuse. Justify your answer. Now, vertices can be vertices. Okay, there is one more theorem which is, I think so I missed it. Anyways, I'll just it's the triangle inequality. One second, I'll just okay, sorry for that. I was just running out. See, this is the theorem, triangle inequality theorem. Let me just explain you that one as well because that is important. This theorem, triangle inequality, what it is if you have just random sides, you can't tell this is a triangle. Now, say for example, I have a triangle and I know the length will be, say, 3, 4, 6. Okay, yeah, this is gonna work out. Why? Because if I add any two sides of the triangle, say I'll add 3 plus 4, this must be greater to the other side. Okay, this is, it must be greater than 6. Now this is not a triangle, it can't be a triangle. Okay, now you realize this is how much, 7 greater than 6. Now let me add other two sides. This 3 plus 6. Is this greater than 4? Is that greater than 4? No, yeah, sorry, it is greater than 4. 9 is greater than 4. And lastly, we have 6 and 4. Yeah, all is correct. Sometimes the mind, just goes like, switches off at times. So, okay, it just made me think that this is not a triangle, but it is a triangle. Now you can see whenever I take, these are the three possibilities. Whenever I take two sides and add them up, what is happening? They are always greater than the other side. You need to choose two. One can be 3 and 4, one can be 3 and 6, and one more can be 6 and 4. I have all the three possibilities, and whenever I add those sides, it is greater than the other side. So this is a triangle. It is possible to do this as a triangle. If at all, whenever you add any two sides, it must be greater than the other side. Okay? But now what I'll do is, I will give you an example which is not a triangle. Let me use the same one, just let me increase this value, then it will be, I hope the first one was clear because that was a triangle. Whenever I added any two, it was greater, okay? Now let me just choose this as 10. What happens here? Or even I can just choose this as 8, okay? Let me just choose it as 8. If I do this 8, I need to, basically rechange this figure. But now I'll leave it like this just to show you. Let me add 3 and 8. 3 plus 8. This is greater than 4. Yes, 3 plus 8 is 11. It's greater than 4. True. Now let me add 8 and 4. 8 plus 4 must be greater than 3. Must be greater than the other side. Yes, 12 is greater than 3. This is also true. Now let me add these two sides. 3 plus 4. Is it greater than 8? No, 7 is not greater than. It is not wrong. This is wrong. That means with these three sides, you cannot complete a triangle. Now it will be half hanging. Okay, if it is something like this, it will not touch the other side. It can't. There will be a gap. It can't be a closed polygon. So very important to know about this theorem. This is basically you add any two sides of the triangle and it must be greater than the third side. Only then it's a triangle. Why I'm telling you this is, they have told, can the vertices of a triangle, can it be the vertices of a triangle? That means we have to do this check, okay? Now we will solve this problem, we'll understand it easily. First of all, you need to measure the sides. How do you measure the sides? See, this is the line. Okay, a triangle. Now here they have not told you exactly which is which side, so it's up to you to choose. Let's just draw a random triangle, okay? I think this is a random triangle. A, B, C. Okay. Now we know the point A is 2 comma 2. This is 5 comma 7 and this is 10 comma 6. Okay, really this is a wrong type of triangle because 2 is somewhere over here, 5 is and 7 is somewhere over here, and then 10 and 6 must be like this, and it must be something like this if you draw it according to the coordinate planes. But I have drawn rough figure, it is not correct, this is not correct. I've just written it for understanding purpose. Okay, now find the sides. You can find the side of AB. How? Distance formula, square root of, what is it? Square root of, I'm a bit rusty, x square, x minus x2 minus x1 the whole square plus y minus y2 minus y1 the whole square. Okay, so I'm just double checking it. Okay, yes, this is the correct formula. You can use y2 minus y1 first or x2 minus x1. Ultimately, it will be the same answer. So x2, what is x2? Here, you can just take it as, sorry, let me just take this as x1, y1, x2, y2. And here, x2 is 5. So 5 minus 2, x1 plus 7 minus 2. That's how we get it. That's the reason we have this, and you can just put in the calculator directly and get the answer as well. Next thing, AB is done. Let's do BC. BC here, x2 minus 5, 10 minus 5, 6 minus 7. Put in the calculator, you will get the answer. Okay, next one is what? AC, that is over here, A and C. So it's 10 minus 2, 6 minus 2. Then you're getting this answer as well. You have got all these answers. But don't keep it like this. Try to write it in terms of 5 point something because it will be helpful. Yeah, it is written over here. Use the calculator to approximate these. AB is 5.83, which is very close to 6. Root 36 is 6. That's why it's less. This is just over root 5 because 25 is root 5, and just over that 5.1, and this is 490, so it is 80, that is nearly close to 81, which is 9, so it's less than that, 8.94. Just use calculators and you will get these answers. Now what? Here, add any two sides, it's up to you. See, let me just show you the triangle again. Add any two sides, this side and this side, this and this side, this side. All the three cases must be done by adding. Now you know these are the three sides, right? Let me just write it over here, sorry. Let me write these sides over here. AB was 5.83, BC was 5.1 and 8.94. When you add, you need to add this and this, this and this, and this and this. All the three cases, not only for one, all three cases. Okay. Now here, 5.83 plus 5.1 gives you 8.94. And when you add these both, it's greater. Yes, it's about 10. Now add 5.8 and 8.94. It's, more than 13. It's more than 14. So it is, yes, greater than 5.1. 5.1 is the other side. Now add 5.1 and 8.94. It must be greater than 5.83. Yes, obviously it's greater than that. All the three cases, yes, they are greater. So this is a triangle. Therefore, you can form a triangle with those sides. And now what you do is, all you need to do is classify the triangle. We know the sides, right? Look over here. We know the sides, isn't it? All three. The longest one is C squared. Other two can be AB. The longest one is important. So you just do C squared, which is C squared, the longest one. 8.94. Okay, square that. C is 8.94. A is 5.83, square it. And finally, we have 5.1, that is square that. Both the sides, what happens? Left side is nearly 80, right side is 60. So you can see there's a huge difference. 80, the C value is greater than the other two sides. This means this can be obtuse because if it is acute, it must be less. This is greater. C square is greater than A square plus B square. So this triangle is obtuse. Obtuse triangle. That is how we solve this problem. Now there is one more. You can practice this by yourself. Pause the video now and try to do it. And then I will continue to do it. I hope you guys at least tried. If you have not, please right now try it, okay? Now we will solve this up. A triangle JKL. Let me go according to the coordinates as well. So 6 and 1. Okay, we start with the biggest line over here. And then what is this? 3 and 2 somewhere over here. And 5 and 3 will be somewhere over here. So this is the triangle. Just join it out. Okay. And now JKL. Okay. That is 1 comma 6, 3 comma 2, and we have 5 comma 3. Find the distances. How do we find the distance? From the formula of x2 minus x1 the whole square plus y2 minus y1 the whole square. You must remember this distance formula. And now over here, 5 minus, I'll find JL first. It would be JL equals square root of 5 minus 1 the whole square plus 3 minus 6 the whole square. I'll write for all the three cases. After JL, I'll go with JK. JK is equal to square root of 3 minus 1 the whole square plus 2 minus 6 the whole square. And lastly, what do we have? Sorry, it's over with J. It is K and L. That will be equal to K and L. 3 minus 5, or you can take 5 minus 3, it's up to you. I'll just say 3 minus 5 the whole square plus 2 minus 3 the whole square. If you consider this to be first term, then even y in this 2 must be first minus 3. Now you must use your calculator and solve it up. Substitute all this. You can directly do it. 5 minus 1 is 4 squared plus 3 minus 3 is minus 3, but it doesn't make a difference squaring. It will be positive itself, okay? It's minus 3 the whole square. It's 5. Okay, first one is 5. Let me do this. Okay, let me write it first. That is JL equals 5. What about the next one? Here, it'll be square root 3 minus 1 is 2 squared plus... See, 2 minus 4 is minus 4 the whole square. Whenever you square, negative sign will be positive. So, to save time, I'm going to write just this. But anyway, I'll write it over here first. You can see JK will be equal to 2 root 5. But you know what? I will just show you. Even if I put this as minus, I'll put the bracket minus and then square it. The answer will be the same, 2 root 5. Why? Because square will dissolve the negative sign. If it's an odd power, 2, 4, 6, the negative sign disappears. Whereas if it's a, even power, okay, 2, 4, 6, it disappears. Whereas it is an odd power, imagine 3, 5, 7, this will remain as negative. So this is important. Last one to go. We have the square root of 3 minus 5 will be minus 2 square, and 2 square is the same thing, plus 1 square. What is the answer? Root 5. So here we have root 5. Root 5 is equal to, you can just check it as 2.23, 2.24. Write it as 2.24, and 2 root 5 is equal to 4.47. Okay, that is equal to 4.47, and this is 5. Now first what we need to do is we need to check whether this is right. This is it possible to make this a triangle? Let's check. Add any two sides. Fine. I'll just I'll write it because it'll be. You can directly do this in calculator. For exam, directly do in calculator. But for you guys now, I will do writing. Any two sides, JL and JK. That is 5 plus 4.47 must be greater than 2.24. Then add 5 and 2.24. It must be greater than 4.47. And lastly, 2.24 plus 4.47 must be greater than 5. Yes, you can easily check this out. 5 plus 4 is 9. Yes, it's greater than 2. And 5 plus 2 is 7. It's greater than 4.47. 2 plus 4 is 6. It's greater than 5. So this checks. Fine, this is true. Now, here, which is the biggest side? Which is the biggest side? This is the biggest side. So this will be C, okay? This will be C. What about this one? You can take it as A and B. Now you need to put in the calculator. It's very easy to do this. C squared must be equal to greater than or less than. We don't know. This is question mark. A squared plus B squared. So what you do is first C squared is easy, 25. So we know. Just put these two. 4.47 squared plus 2.24 squared. What is the answer? Okay. See, I know this 24.9985. It's very close to 25. Pi square is 25. Why I'm not getting 25 is because I did not use the exact values. So in such cases, use the exact value. If it's very close to 5 square. 5 square is 25. When I square these two and add them, I should get 25 to be a right angle. So let me double check this. 2 root 5, close the bracket, plus root 5, okay? Close the bracket again. Oh, I forgot to write the square. That's the reason I put the brackets. Reasons. So now, what's the answer? It's 25. What is 5 squared? It is also 25. So this sum of these two smaller sides is equal to the square of the biggest side. 5 squared is 25. So this is what? It is a right angle. It's a right angle because when we do the square of these, it will be, one second, 25 equals 25. If it's equal, it will be a right angle. If it was less than, if this was say 23, that would be less than, then it would be acute. If it was greater than say 28, it looks like a, okay, 28 greater than 25, then it would be obtuse. So these are the cases. But now we got 25 equals 25. So we need to write this as a right angle. Let's see. Yes, this is a triangle. And it's a right angle triangle, or right triangle, or right angle triangle. That's the answer. This is how we solve this, classifying triangles from these coordinates. Okay, that's it. I hope this lesson is clear. It's a very easy and pretty straightforward lesson. So please ask me any questions in the comments. I'll try to get back to you very soon. And so one more reminder, the first lesson is not there for your exam. So that's the reason I've not done the first lesson. I've directly done the second lesson. I'm doing all the lesson explanations for whichever are there for your final exam only. So that's the reason I've not done the first lesson. And even in this module, the module 4, the second lesson will be there for your end of term exam. And third lesson again is not there. So I'll directly, next video in this playlist would be 4.4, which is there for your exam. So until the next video, take care and goodbye.